Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, you guys. I do this every single weekday, and I also have a twice a week long form podcast where I only sit down with transportation professionals. You guys, anyone who is active in the transportation industry comes on my show, provides information. Most importantly, information that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag in my office every single day. Is not only is this the greatest nation on earth, but I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you guys live yours as well. And it is brought to you by information that you can actually use by people who have actually done the jobs. There's no theory on any of my stuff, you guys. There's no wannabe thought leaders who couldn't tell you what a Jake break was or anything like that. But I got a special guest for you guys. He's a repeat guest. He's my man when it comes to insurance and everything. I'm going to bring him up in a second. But before I do that, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, you guys, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers. And especially right now for my small fleets and my owner ops, when prices are rising on fuel and repairs and everything that's out there, you should never have to shut your operation down because you have a trailer in the shop. And the best part about this, you get paid to move these trailers. That's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading these out. So what they're working on, you guys, I got a dry vans out in Paragould, Arkansas, going to Orting, Washington. You get paid $15.50 to do that. They have Winnipeg, Manitoba to Vaughan, Ontario. You get $500 Canadian to do that. They have a flatbed out in Macomb, Mississippi, needing to go up to Brighton, Colorado. You get $1,600 to do that. They also have Macedonia, Ohio, going to Mississauga, as well as McDonough, Georgia, going to Mississauga, Ontario. And that just go out onto their VHub app and then put an offer in on their platform. And then finally, they have a drive in Milton, Ontario, going to Moncton, New Brunswick for $400 Canadian. So hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos and Stacey Steen, they will be in the audience. Just do me a favor. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. All right. Let's see here. We got comments are blowing up already. Dylan Turner, good fucking morning. Let's get some. Stace, intro music always pumps me up. Let's fucking go. Good to see you, Stace. Sonny Sharma, orange shirt gang. Let's fucking go. My boy Vitali's here to bridge the American and Canadian relations like we do all the time. Fabian, good morning. Thanks for joining, brother. Zach Williams, let's fucking go. Happy Friday, everyone. If you guys want to become an independent freight agent and take control of your financial future, hit up Zach. Hit up SPI Logistics. You guys join this team. Rick Wooten, good morning. Happy Friday to you. Denise, good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining in. Danny, good morning, everyone, he says. All right, I'm going to bring my boy up. The man, the myth, the legend's coming back on. Cam, I was hoping to catch you in like the middle of a sip of coffee where you just be.
Yeah, you could have easily, man. It's morning time. Coffee's a necessity.
Every single time, bro. Dude, I don't know. I'm a big Black Rifle Coffee fan. I signed up for their coffee club membership. Dude, it's so nice to have bags dropped off at the office every month at the exact same time. 5 new bags of coffee. It's fantastic.
Dude, I love it. How is the coffee? It's straight black for me. So like, it's funny.
Me too.
Do try to find good coffee. Yeah. And I actually haven't found one. My neighbor used to roast. I'd get fresh out of the roaster that like week every day on my like doorstep. He moved. I no longer get that. He no longer ships. So now I'm trying to find a new vendor.
Dude, I use Black Rifle. It's veteran owned, great. I love the coffee as well, though. Like it is probably some of the best stuff that I've ever had. Ironically, I will say this: Quick Trip gas stations in Wisconsin and Minnesota have probably the best coffee like on the planet. I don't know what they do. They're like the Buc-ee's of the upper Midwest, because everyone in Texas is, like Buc-ee's is the shit and everything. But dude, Quick Trip coffee, man, I'm a big fan of that stuff.
Awesome. Cool. And if my voice sounds a little rough, man, I'm just kicking this like flu cold. It's all in my congestion. It's terrible. So
I get it. I'm starting to get a little bit of a head cold, but like I tell my wife all the time, I refuse to get sick. So I just talk myself out of it. You know, it's just one of
Okay.
those things, man. So,
Two
dude,
workouts today. Let's go.
yeah, dude, exactly. So what's new, man? It's been a minute since we chatted. What's going on in the insurance world?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Obviously, we finished end of the year. Everything's great. We onboarded a couple new salespeople on my side. We're kind of ramping up for just some expansion in the transportation arena for different states and venues that we've now got some fleet programs that rolled out. We are doing our best basically to educate, coach, guide our clients as so they don't go out of business, right? So a lot of folks in this last year came in with the spot market. Rates are high. There's a lot of things going really, really well for an entrepreneur to come in and do it. But now we're back to like a normal trucking market. And like you're coming into the, beginning of the year, there's always a huge dip. A lot of people that came into business went out of business, like over half of them in the last like 12 months. So, we're always built around education, guidance, coaching, leadership, safety and compliance. Like there's a lot of things that we do. We partnered with some management, safety and compliant management companies for CDL drivers, like a lot of exciting stuff that's going on. So, but anyways, we've been working a lot with and a lot more with fleets, your 5 to 50 truck fleets. And so we're getting a lot more engagement there. And because of the resources and things that we bring to the table, we're not just a cash register for them to pay me insurance premiums and then never hear from me again and only talk to me at renewal time. Like that's not what we're about. So, but it's good, man. I'm excited. I'm optimistic too. Truckers are resilient, right? We all know that. So,
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think is that why you guys invested into bringing a consulting approach to your clients? Is because you saw that some of them were at risk of going out of business? And did you guys identify like, hey, we're doing this because we identified these 15 carriers went out of business for the exact same reason. We can actually help them through these processes.
Yeah, I mean, we've always brought a consultative approach, ask questions, guidance. Like we want to bring value, and we have from the beginning. And it's not like this is a response to, and all of a sudden we were given quotes before, and now we're trying to give guidance and expertise and like all the stuff that we bring. So short answer is no, but yes on a little bit, because I hate seeing people have a dream. This is America. You got that flag flying behind you, like at the land of opportunity. So they branch out on their own. They go buy a truck. They get their own equipment. They're investing in all these things, get out on the road. And, maybe they don't have the guidance, or maybe they're just getting, truck stop chatter, or maybe like their friend said this and that, and they're at the mercy of the spot market. And that's what they thought was okay. And they weren't investing in relationships and getting opportunities and things that'll help stabilize them through some of these low patches. So that's where I came, in my mind's like, okay, how do we get them to stay in business? Right. Yeah. I don't make money just working with somebody 1 year and then them going out of business. It does nobody any good, does me no good. And so, I've got like I hit you up all the time. Hey, do we got any lanes up here? Or what are we looking at down here? Hey, I'm trying to find my guys, loads that they can go out and like actually make money. Yeah. And they're great people. So I built connections that way. The big awesome thing, which we'll roll out at some point and I'll chat with you about it, but is we've got a CDL driver management and compliance partner now that I actually invested in, and they take the hiring, the drug testing, the compliance, the data queue, the DOT, new entrant audit, existing audit, all those things off that owner's plate. They don't have to worry about it. It's like a fraction of the cost. We come in and do all that, and we give them handbooks and all kinds of stuff, which is awesome. So we're starting to shift in like, how can we make them better? How do we invest in these guys to make them better? That's what we're doing. So,
dude, and that's, again, shameless plug to my company, Broker Carrier, but that's one of our big things that we're doing. Like, yes, we have a capacity management tool that helps you reutilize your in-network carriers to keep them moving freight for you directly. So you're not having to go out there to a load board and source new carriers and everything else. It decreases claims. It just increases profitability because it increases your success rates with a customer. And that's where it lies. But we don't just do that, man. We do monthly mastermind calls where like I do, again, sales training, operations training to all of our users so they can grow their businesses. Because again, it's like my business partner in it, Kyle, who's been on the show a couple of times, like, dude, we're both fellow entrepreneurs, like we get it. We understand that keeping our clients in business and growing is essential to our growth and our long-term strategy with all of this. So again, it's like we're sitting down there and we're going over in-depth sales strategies with our teams. We're out there going through operational strategies with them as well. Like, I mean, dude, I hit you up all the time for insurance questions. Like, hey, what can our people do? What can brokers do in this situation? You know, again, like, dude, you literally saved one of our users a massive claim with that reefer breakdown thing that I was talking to you about. You know, that there's a big difference between a reefer, like an actual breakdown coverage, and then a driver error coverage and everything. And they were able to spot that on an insurance certificate, and they were able to alleviate that. Like, again, it's those things about keeping people in business, like you're talking about with the owner ops, man. Like, dude, there's no playbook to this. So it's like collectively, if you're going to be a service provider, you should be thinking, what can I do to add value to my client's operation? Because as you know, just as well as I do, you add value to somebody's business, then there's some loyalty there. Then there's some trust there. Then there's some, hey, these guys, in Chris Jolly terms, these guys actually give a fuck about us, which it seemingly is like thrown to the wayside by some people.
Yes, sir. Well, and the market's hardening too from an insurance standpoint. So people are going to start finding that out. Renewal rates, you're going to start seeing creep up on, especially with poor performance, out of service, claims, things like that they're not operating at a high level. There's all kinds of things that everyone's facing constantly, but that's where we come in. That's my job. And that's what we're paid to do. So, nah, man, I love it. I'm excited for the year, though, as you are. And I commend you. I don't even know if the listeners realize, like, the dedication and you just showing up and putting up and getting it out every single day, like what that takes. So, like, kudos to you, man. I'm sitting here as a big fan and a friend, obviously. And I love what you're doing, man. Keep doing it.
Oh, dude, at the end of the day, man, I know I've talked about this on the show in the past, but with my dad being an owner op for 40 years and everything, and he refused to come on to any of my stuff because he was like, Chris, I mean, literally, this is what he told me. Chris, nobody gives a fuck about a truck driver. He's like, I'm not going to go on there and talk about my experience, knowing everything you're telling me right now is exactly what I dealt with back in the 70s and the 80s. And that tells me nothing's changed. He's like, the general sentiment out there is driver, go lay by your dish. All right. And I've talked about that a lot. And then up until the day he died. And when that happened, again, I don't talk about my personal life on this shit because I don't fucking need sympathy. But when that happened, that was the moment in my head that I'm like, I'm going to be the motherfucker that changes things. All right. Because I'm sick and tired of the bullshit. I'm sick and tired of seeing the same fucking things come out all the time. And it neglects the drivers, the carriers, the brokers. Like it's just a perpetual cycle of nobody wanting to fucking improve. So I got a big mouth, obviously, and say, fuck it. I'm going to be the one that fucking changes it. So people can look back, the guys who used to run with my old man, and say, Gary Jolly's boy fixed shit. That's my driving force for all of this stuff, man. That's all I'm fucking concerned about because my family's been in this industry for almost 100 fucking years. And I can't look back and be like, oh, well, just collect a paycheck and be good, and just let shit fly by, man. Because I hear from drivers all the time. They don't have a place to park. They don't have a place to shower. They don't have access to food. They can't even leave facilities and all this other stuff. And that is a fundamental fucking issue. People are going to sit here and do a smoke screen on the 80,000 drivers. There's not a driver shortage. There's a fucking massive retention issue because not one of these suits who are up here boasting about a driver shortage would fucking put up with these drivers have to go through out on the road. Not one of them. So in my opinion, kindly shut your fucking mouth unless you're going to address the core fundamental issues. And now I'm not saying that some people are immune, that like it's only a certain part. The entire fucking industry needs to make a coordinated effort to change. All right? The entire industry. There needs to be what I grew up with in the fact that people actually appreciated what others did for them. All right. The blue collar jobs as a whole. Like my start is with trucking. All right. But my vision is to make the blue collar sexy again because everyone looks at the garbage man or the fucking construction worker or the welder or any of that. And they're like, oh, that's all you do. Fuck that. Those are the people out there building our fucking country and keeping our country running. And there just needs to be a bring back the fundamental appreciation for what your fellow American does every single day that makes this the greatest fucking nation on earth. I don't know if it was just the way I was raised, man. I don't give a fuck. If you're a good person, I'll fuck with you. All right. I will ride with you if you're a good person. If you're a piece of shit, don't fucking come talk to me. It's a pretty simple thing for me.
Love it. Let's go. I love getting fired up in the morning, man. This is it. This is what it's about.
I need more coffee, as you guys can tell.
Black Rifle.
I got to get caught up on some comments here. Matt Peterson, good morning. Happy Friday. Nick Erdman says, good morning. Stace, yeah, Black Rifle is bomb. And when Black Rifle eventually hears this and wants to come up with a freight coach blend, you guys are more, I'm open for that phone call. Whitney Young, he's watching over on YouTube. He's got the American flag rocking out there. Good fucking morning, guys, he says. Matthew Kane. Oh, there we go. I forgot what TGIF stood there for a second. Brain fart. TGIF professionals. Let's fucking go. Cody Kohler. What's up, brother? Good fucking morning. Sonny Sharma says, Cam, we need to talk. Our insurance is up for
right. Sonny, I don't think misses an episode. I see him on here every single time. I love Sonny. He's the man.
He says broker carrier is amazing. If anyone has questions, hit him up. Exactly. I'll just let our users do the talking for us.
Yeah.
Danny says, I will ride with you, brother. I appreciate that, Danny. Vitaly says most drivers are cool and positive relationship with them on the customer side is actually quite beneficial for customers. Drivers end up going above and beyond when they are happy and treated with respect. Amen to that. Sean Cullo says he's bringing sexy. Sexy never left, brother. Sexy's been here every day. That's why you rock orange. That's why you rock orange. Montre Lincoln, good morning. He's watching over on YouTube. Thanks for joining. Shit, man, we might not get to 3 articles today because we just went on for 14 minutes, but this is why I like having the same people back on the show, man, because we develop a cadence, and I like having people come back who actually give a fuck about the industry, you know? And that's why Cam keeps coming back. First article we're going to break down. ttnews.com. Freight groups urge FHWA, which is the Federal Highway Administration, to withdraw the IIJA memo. American Trucking Associations is among the groups calling on the Federal Highway Administrations to withdraw a memo from a little over a year ago focused on the implementation of a $1.2 trillion infrastructure law. Nearly 24 groups representing much of the freight sector argued that the December 16th, 2021 document has complicated project planning throughout the transportation network with regards to Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act. That is what IIJA stands for. The law enacted shortly before the memo, significantly increased funding for federal highway programs. As transportation stakeholders, we are concerned about the precedents that this policy memo sets. We fear the potential policies that future administrations could prioritize without undertaking a formal notice and comment rulemaking. ATA, along with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Association of American Railroads, among other groups, wrote out there, the IIJA includes robust funding levels that will help stabilize and enhance every state's long-term transportation improvement efforts. Furthermore, this multi-year plan will facilitate private sector investment in equipment and personnel. And then ensuring the implementation undertakes transparent and lawful process to engage the broadest possible spectrum of stakeholders is critical to maximizing their transportation improvement and job growth's outcome. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I read this when you sent it to me, and it's like, I think there's so many levels. And now, like you had mentioned, there's suits involved that are trying to lay past that they can get some things done, which from the feedback does not seem like a good thing, right? And I don't know specifics or the projects or things that are getting held up, or in the memo, it's make the, interstate and these bridges accessible to all types of vehicles and what does that mean? Right. What are they? I don't know what some of that stuff means. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's what are your thoughts on that?
So
my initial thoughts, like, yes, there has to be like law. There's laws in place for a reason. You have to get a vote, and you got to get shareholder stake and input, and ATA needs a voice. All these people need a voice. They can't just pass it, right?
Yeah. So I think that, this little excerpt right here kind of summarizes it for me. Congressional Republicans have taken aim at the memo's so-called fix it first stance. The GOP transportation leaders on Capitol Hill said they interpreted the document as suggesting the state transportation agencies prioritize infrastructure maintenance instead of proceeding with new construction. These policymakers renewed their critiques after being reviewed by Government Accountability, The Government Accountability Office determined the memo's ideas qualified for further scrutiny under a legislative technicality. The memo sets out that there are preferred projects for funding under the infrastructure, and when an agency rule has the effect of inducing changes to the internal policy or operational choices of the regulated community, that the rule has a substantial impact on the rights and obligations of non-agency partners. And it goes above and beyond a mere guidance from the administration. And that was Sam Graves, who's Republican from Missouri, said. And since IIJA was signed into law, the administration has repeatedly doubled down on discouraging states from expanding or building new roads they may need, despite the policy being in direct conflict with what Congress intended. Again, and I broke something similar about this down. For me personally, it's like we can't skirt around the fact that our roadways are crumbling, our airports need to be reinvested, our ports need to be updated, and all of that stuff. And it isn't like, don't put a fucking Band-Aid on it. Don't put a Band-Aid on it. Like they approved this money to build new construction. All right. That means that companies are going to put out bids, the steel, pavement, all of those guys are going to be investing in building out and winning these projects and doing this. And then they're expecting this work to become available based off of the initial guidelines. And again, it's like the fucking caveat. It's like peel back the fine print of the $1.2 trillion. How much of that is actually earmarked towards infrastructure, and how much of that is earmarked towards other causes that have literally nothing to do with the infrastructure? So again, when you're sitting out here saying new construction, what does that mean? That means new construction, not go fix the old shit that's barely fucking usable right now.
Yep. Yeah, bridges, there's a fundamental problem with bridges across the country, right? That's not new. And they're band-aiding, they're reinforcing some, but in a lot of cases, you're right. I think it has to be tore down, redone, accommodate the new influx of anything that's going on in that region. So follow the money. And that, I guess that's basically, you're right. The gist of the different comments that are coming to play is you said we had the money, but then it's getting shot down. Where's the money at? Where's the money going? So
dude, I'm right there with you. And from an insurance standpoint here, how does this potentially, it might be tough for you to answer this because I know I love throwing you on the hot seat and you're like, fuck, I got it. But like, how does the infrastructure being in its current situation, we'll call it, how does that affect insurance rates?
I think it depends on, if you got single lane passing, low visibility in certain segments through passes or curves or through coming into traffic, coming into construction zones is not good, as we all know, for truckers, right? That's where a lot of accidents occur. There's a lot of things like that. So depending on, and once again, we don't know any plans. We don't know improvements. We don't know what half that shit means that they're going to do. But I think if it improves some of those things, that will reduce some of these accidents and deaths and things that go on the road. We all know the truckers, most time they're not at fault, right? It's four-wheelers. It's all these other people that are impatient, passing on the side of the road and flying out, cutting people off. But the trucker, given proper response time, especially when weather turns and things like that, I think it'll just reduce overall frequency of issues and severity of crashes, hopefully, in a perfect world. So.
And then it's like situations like that that you're describing right here, man, is again, like, I don't like Big Brother having an open eye on stuff, but like outward facing cameras are, I think, crucial. I really do. If I own trucks, I would definitely have outward facing cameras watching that to save my drivers in the event that it's a car that cuts them off and then the car just blames them. And then driver never gets the benefit of the doubt, it seems.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, that article, you guys, ttnews.com, freight groups urge the FHWA to withdraw the IIJA memo. And as always, you guys, all the links to the articles that we break down on the show are put over on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio-only replay of this, which is going to be available almost immediately after the show. And if you guys do go over to those other platforms, do your body a solid. Subscribe, share it, rank the show. It just helps reach more and more people, you guys. That's how we are in the position we're in today, is because of each and every one of you who continues to show up and share the show and get that message out there. Because if you guys see value in this, your network's going to see value in this as well. All right, on to the next one, as Jay-Z says. Fleetowner.com. JB Hunt execs anticipate spring market turn. All right. So again, I don't know what person has been talking about this for a little bit here. I don't know where he is, but I hear he's got a daily morning show. And he's not an executive at a high-powered company or has high-frequency data to look at. Anyways, the leaders of JB Hunt said on January 18th, they are hearing from customers that the inventory correction at the heart of the current freight downturn will have to come to an end by the middle of this year, setting a stage for a new leg of growth. Speaking to analysts, President Shelley Simpson said today's freight recession is largely being driven by those inventory issues, which have the roots caused from the pandemic. Consumer spending patterns are as the economy emerged in earnest from lockdowns and restrictions. More broadly, she said customers aren't reporting widespread problems with demand. We are not sure at what point that it is in Q2, Simpson said, but we do feel like the back half of the year, we have confidence from what our customers are giving us and the data points that they have that there's going to be what they're going to be doing from an ordering perspective. And then Simpson and her fellow executives were careful to note that they were merely passing along with the number 5 on the fleet owners for hire, like they're hearing from clients. Again, this isn't JB Hunt saying this. This is clients saying that. Because I don't want to get sued, I'm going to point that out right there. Also, because Bank of America, upgraded stock prices as well, which we broke down the other day, and that sent a shock out there. And then again, it's also you can tell because like to kind of tie into truck sales and everything else, I think that if this current juncture or like where we're at currently with the market was going to be expected long-term, companies wouldn't be investing in brand new equipment. They wouldn't be investing in upgrading anything. They would be sticking with what they have through this to kind of, because again, publicly traded companies only care about their stock price. Unfortunately, I mean, not everybody, there's not all bad companies out there, but for the majority of it, their decisions are based on how do we insulate our company and protect our stock price long-term through these market downturns so we can still remain profitable. But they're investing in equipment. I'm seeing that another article that we were going to talk about that we're not is talking about truck sales, which is a good sign. It doesn't mean like the freight market's going to be booming and gangbuster here tomorrow, but if companies are making that investment in reinvesting into their companies, upgrading their fleets on schedule, they're doing that for a reason. I'm right there with them. Again, I've been saying this. I don't know at what point this year, but I believe that this year will operate in a normal market cycle, the holiday peaks and valleys and everything that come along with it. I think that at some point this year, the spot market will rebound and it'll definitely start picking up. So again, you just kind of got to hold firm with where you are right now. Make it work. Just don't fucking quit. Don't fucking quit early on this year because it's going to be a little bit harder to get that consistent business. But when you're in the door, you're going to be getting in right at the right time of when things start to tick up. And these people who've been fucking off for the first couple of months are going to be kicked out of network and that freight's going to go somewhere. So that's just like my opinion, man.
Yeah, and I agree. I love this article. And this is kind of a conversation I've had so many times with so many clients and so many people is it's going to rebound. Who's left at the end because all the freight still has to move. People still need to buy things. People are still going to build just because maybe house sales slowed down. Remodels will tick up. Flatbed freight's going to tick up. Manufacturing. We're still on a catch up from COVID, right? And a shortage. I think that if it were to tie in and we had time to tie into the sales article, I think a lot of that is like lack of availability of equipment, which then forced and prolonged, obviously, a lot of equipment to stay out. So now it's a mad rush to get back and replenish what deteriorated. But I've got guys every year, they're buying 5, 10, however many new trucks. I mean, it's still, people are still growing. Somebody has to haul the freight. So.
Yeah. Dude, absolutely. I'm right there with you, man. On the house. I mean, as soon as the IIJA gets actually fucking implemented and up and rolling, that's going to be massive growth for flatbed this year. Open deck freight, you got to think. This next year, open deck freight could be massive. As soon as the suits in DC fucking figure their shit out with our money that they already decided to spend. But still, I think them getting that figured out is going to be very good for flatbed. And again, when they're building more stuff, like that's not just flatbed freight. Like think about all the other commodities that have to be kept in an enclosed trailer throughout transit. Like this is going to be very good for our industry as a whole. And again, I don't know how fast it's going to tick up. I'm not going to sit out here and put any guesses out there other than I know for a fact the market will recover and rebound at some point this year is what my gut is telling me. And I'm going to take that to the bank in that one. But dude, that is obviously a quick 30 minutes. And Vitaly, I saw that. We're going to be working on something here, V, and I think that will appease some people if you guys enjoy hearing me talk shit. Dylan Turner said, we appreciate you giving a fuck about the industry. Whitney Young over on YouTube said, thumbs up to the outward cameras. But yeah, that's it for today, man. Dude, how can we reach out more? How does anybody find Cam?
valleytruckandinsurance.com. I'm on LinkedIn as always, Facebook. We got a podcast Chris has been a guest on. Get a load of this trucking podcast, pretty much every Spotify, Apple, any major network. So look me up. I'll chat anytime.
Perfect. Well, that's it for today. You guys have a great weekend. The Freight Coach Morning Show will be back on Monday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some more industry headlines. And as always, you guys, if you guys saw value in this, share the show. That's all I can ask from you guys at the end of the day, because if you see value in this, your network's going to see value in this as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon. Yeah, man.